everyone, welcome back to Firsthand Globetrotting. I'm back with part 5 of my trip to Riviera Maya in Mexico. I've had an incredible time the first 9 days, and I hope to pack even more excitement into the end of my trip. My resort, the Barcelo Maya, has been an amazing place to stay. I've eaten way too much delicious food, relaxed by the pool, played in the ocean, snorkeled with fish, and spent the evenings watching some fun live shows. Plus, I went off-resort to one of the new wonders of the world, Chichen Itza, swam in 2 underground cenotes, spent a few days exploring Playa del Carmen, saw a spectacular aerial cultural ceremony, and ate some incredible local Yucatan foods. In case you missed the first 4 parts, the links are in the video description. It's day 10 today, and I decided to wake up pretty early so I could catch the sunrise. I pretty much had the entire beach to myself. Especially at resorts, most people sleep in, so an early morning walk along the beach is extra peaceful. Other than a few other early birds waiting for the sun and the resort staff cleaning up the beach for the day, it was mostly empty. If you look east from the beach, the only thing between you and the horizon is the ocean water. That makes it a perfect spot for a sunrise. You'll see a little bit of reddish orange start to peek up in the distance as it starts coming up. It's really a beautiful sight with the waves slowly rolling over the water and the sounds of birds flying by. But little by little, the sun seems to slowly rise up out of the water. The entire sunrise only takes a couple of minutes from when you first see it until it's completely visible. But it makes for a really great way to start your day, especially when the sky is clear and you get a great view. Catching an amazing sunrise wasn't the only reason I got up early though. I had a great time the other day seeing all the fish while I was snorkeling. But I heard there was an even better thing to see out in the water: sea turtles. Look at them! Who could turn down a chance to watch them swimming around in the ocean? There are a few places along the Riviera Maya where you can go for a snorkeling trip to see wild sea turtles. But these ones were right off our beach, maybe 50 feet from the shore. I guess in the mornings when there aren't many people swimming, they like to come up close looking for plants to eat. We tried to stay far away from them and just watch from a distance, but the turtles saw us and got curious. So they swam right up to us to see what we were doing. This was an incredible experience. Not only is it amazing to suddenly see one of them out of the corner of your eye while you're snorkeling, but to watch them as they casually glide through the water is even better. There's just something so interesting about getting to see animals in their natural habitat, especially when it's under the sea. I thought swimming with the fish was fun, but this was on a whole other level. This was such an amazing experience, and I'm honestly a little mad at myself that I didn't learn about it sooner and do it more often. After my early morning date with the turtles, I decided to explore the resort a little bit more. When I was walking up and down the beach the other day, I could see some of the pool areas of the Carib and beach hotels. So I went to get a better look at them. As you can see, it's just huge pools and swim-up bars as far as you can see. Honestly, sometimes it's hard to tell which hotel you're at since they all have such massive pool areas. Every once in a while I'd notice some differences, like kids' splash parks at some of the hotels. Or little huts by the pools where you could play table tennis, pool, or foosball in the shade. But what really caught my eye is that some of the rooms facing the pools were swim out. I really liked the look of those. The idea of walking out your door right into the water is pretty great. And some of the other rooms had hot tubs on their balconies. I never really saw anyone using the hot tubs or swim out pools since everyone was always at the main pool areas. There was a pretty big rock climbing wall at one of the hotels too. No one seemed to be brave enough to climb it though. But mostly it was just huge pools and fountains everywhere I looked. It was never hard to find a chair to relax in or some water to swim in. For lunch, I went to the only beach grill that I hadn't been to yet, Rancho Grande. The food was pretty much identical to the rest of them with just slightly different decorations. But it was nice to find a spot that gave me a different viewpoint as I stared out over the ocean while enjoying my meal. After lunch, I didn't really get up to much, just relaxed a little bit more by the pool and took it easy. Sometimes I feel bad for spending the entire afternoon in the sun, but that's what beach vacations are all about, right? And today, not just one, but 2 lizard friends came to say hello to me. I had such a great meal at the Mexican restaurant, I headed back there for round 2. Of course, I had more cochinita pibil. But I also went with another traditional Yucatan food that's slices of tamale covered with pumpkin seed sauce. It was really tasty too. And remember that Mayan liquor I had waiting for me in my room when I arrived? I finally got around to trying some of it on ice. It had a sweet black licorice flavor to it and was a really nice drink for a hot Mexican night. Tonight's entertainment was a music show called Love. As you can probably guess from the name, it was a mix of different romantic songs. A pretty fitting show to have at Barcelo Maya, since there seem to be so many people getting married or having honeymoons there. On to day 11, my last full day. Remember how amazing those underground cenotes were that I visited on my day trip to Chichen Itza? Well, there are actually some jungle cenotes right across the highway from my resort. I had such an incredible time in the first 2, there was no way I was going to miss another cenote swim. The hardest part was picking which one to go to, since there were actually 3 or 4 of them within a 5-minute walk from the resort's front entrance. I ended up going to Cristalino cenote since it looked pretty great from the pictures. From the road, you walk down a small path into the jungle until you come to the entrance. If you look closely at the price list, you'll see that it costs more for models and photographers to get in. I thought it was pretty funny that they did that. As soon as I made my way down the stairs and the cenote came into view, I knew I made a great choice coming here. You really feel like you're out in the middle of the jungle. There are trees and plants all around you, and then the crystal clear water sparkling in the cenotes. It's picture perfect with nature surrounding you on every side. And as you look down into the water, you can see all the rocks and little fish below. Look, even a couple of lizards up on the rocks watching me while I swim. Honestly, I could spend the entire day just floating in the water and looking at what's going on under the surface. It's just so clear and calm and peaceful in the water. There's even one part that's a little cave you can swim through. One really cool thing in there is that there are small cracks in the rock that let through beams of light. As you look underwater, they're almost like spotlights shining on the rocks at the bottom. The cenote is actually made up of a few different pools. One of them is super shallow, but it's filled with tiny fish swimming in it. Whenever you start getting in, they come over to you and start swimming around your legs. Oh yeah, plus the main, deepest pool has a small cliff over it that you can jump off of and splash down into the water below. I had a really great time here. There are cenotes all over the Yucatan Peninsula and they're so cool. Definitely worth a stop or 2 on any trip to Riviera Maya. Nearly every other day around lunch I've been near the pools, so I just ate at the beach grills. But since I was getting back from the cenotes, I thought I'd try out the main buffet. And I'm really glad I did, since they had a tacos al pastor station there. Trust me, I made a lot of trips back there, they were so good. And on my way to the pool after lunch, another lizard friend walked with me part of the way to my beach chair. I found myself a nice spot with some palm trees overhead and the sun shining down, and spent the rest of the day hanging out there. My time at the resort was racing by, but I did my best to make my last day count. I wanted to enjoy every minute of my last night. So I walked through the darkness by the pools, checking out how nice everything looked with the glowing water and fountain lights. And I just relaxed on a beach chair, looking up at the night sky as the palm trees slowly swayed in the wind. When I woke up on my 12th day, I knew that sadly it was time to head home. No matter how great a vacation is, they always have to come to an end. But I was focused on making the most of it, so I got up extra early for one last sunrise. I love the view out here, with the cool morning breeze and the sounds of the ocean all around me. On my way back from the beach, I got to see how calm and peaceful the pool was in the morning. Just waiting for the rest of the resort to wake up and come enjoy it. Way sooner than I wanted, I was packed up and in the lobby waiting to head back to the airport. As my shuttle pulled away, I was sad to see the big Barcelo sign pass by after so many good times at the resort. Before long, I was at the airport ready to say goodbye to Mexico. And then, as the plane took off, I was on my way back home and back to reality. I'll admit, before this trip, I was never the type of traveler that was a fan of all-inclusive resorts. I always like to do my own thing on vacations and get out and explore places, so maybe I was a little biased against beach resorts. But as you can probably tell from these videos, I absolutely loved this trip. Mexico was incredible. The Riviera Maya was beautiful. The Barcelo Maya was perfect. At some times it probably seemed like an advertisement for the resort, but honestly I just loved everything about it and had such a good time. Maybe it was best that I didn't really have huge expectations coming into this trip. That way, nearly all of these amazing things that I saw and did surprised me and made it a really fun experience. I'd come again in a heartbeat. I spent 11 nights here and it was a great length of trip. It gave me plenty of time to just relax by the pool and swim in the ocean. But I also had time to visit one of the wonders of the world and get off resort to visit other parts of the Yucatan Peninsula. I still love exploring cities and countries on my own, but this was really fun too. Honestly, in the next year or two, I might actually try to take another all-inclusive beach vacation somewhere in the world. And so that's it for my Riviera Maya vlog. If you missed any of the other 4 parts, make sure to look in the description for links. And if you have any questions, ask me in the comments. While you're at it, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. On Twitter, I'm Firsthand Globe. On Instagram, I'm Firsthand Globetrotting. Follow me on there. And don't forget, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.